my cousin Todd, and Keith, he's faithful, the constitutional conservative. We have a packed show for you tonight. Oh my gosh, everything is going on. The Trae Young trade, what's next? Senator Mullen says officer in Minneapolis ICE shooting had the right to defend himself. Mike Tomlin of this officer in Minneapolis ICE shooting had the right to defend himself. Mike Tomlin of the Steelers resigns before he's fired. And Murphy says the U.S. annexation of Greenland would be the end of NATO. NFL playoffs, where is to cross U.S. red lines as approximately 2,000 protesters die in Iranian government crackdown. Trump warns of very strong options as activists claim at least those 2,000 were killed in nationwide demonstrations. Trump ultimatum to Cuba: make a deal before it's too late or face consequences. Trump vows to halt all oil and financial support to Cuba following Maduro's capture. The Utah Jazz have the worst defensive rating in NBA history, breaking their own record from last year. Can you believe it? CNBC says President Donald Trump called Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell either incompetent or crooked, and said that jerk will be gone soon. The New York Jets are the first team to finish an entire season with no interceptions. The Supreme Court is poised to likely uphold state bans on transgender athletes in girls and women's sports and more if we can fit it in. We've got a packed show for you tonight. First up, let's talk about Trae Young. Let's look at this video. Let me share the screen and talk about Trae Young. I'm sure Keith doesn't know who Trae Young is, but
we do those, don't we, Staci?
Yes, we do. Here we go.
The scene here at State Farm Arena moments ago, nothing official at all. But the rumors are circulating that a potential trade between Atlanta and Washington involving Trae Young is going to happen. And Trae coming out, and it looks to me, Nick, like he's saying some goodbyes here as he walks over toward the Atlanta bench.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. And, you know, it's crazy when you get to this point in your career and things like that. It's still emotion.
It's home court win. Hawks haven't done that since Thanksgiving. Trae Young exiting the arena. 117-100 Atlanta.
Hawks on just dribble the clock out here.
The only man in the hallway. This game comes to an end. And if this is indeed it, one of the most remarkable chapters in Hawks history will come to an end. The final horn at State Farm Arena. Atlanta 117 and New Orleans 100.
Okay, let's talk about it. Stephen.
So he just up and quits, right?
No, he didn't quit. They traded him during the. They traded him. He's sitting at the game. He's out,
right.
And they traded him, and let everybody know they traded him during the game. So I guess he's like, "Why am I sitting here?"
Oh yeah, I got it now. Right.
Why am I sitting here? I might as well leave.
Right. That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. I've never seen anything like it, but you can't blame him. He's done. No. You can't blame him for doing it. Yeah.
And, the Washington Wizards were in desperate need of a point guard.
Right.
Without, C.J. McCollum and Corey Kispert. But now they have a point guard in Trae Young.
I guess
right now, and he's not going to be able to play too much for them this season. And he's on an option, and he wants an extension, which means what? More money, more money, more money.
Right.
How is Washington going to afford that?
I don't know. I do not know, and maybe it'll turn out they don't even take him to just be.
Well, they already, right?
Yeah, but they don't have to keep him.
That's true. They don't. You're right.
You know, I don't know. It's so crazy, and anything Washington does, I don't care what sports team it is, it's going to be kind of funky. I just can't get behind it. But you know, it's been a rough few years.
Yeah, the Wizards, you know, they've got a lot of young players, right?
That's
your team,
yeah.
Right? The Wizards are your team.
Yeah, they got a lot of young players,
they're
but
kind of in the rebuilding phase, right?
Forever. Forever and ever and ever, they're rebuilding. You know, if you keep telling people you're rebuilding, they'll still pay the same prices for the tickets, but it's gotten old. It's gotten really old. We can't all be great franchises, I guess.
I know, and it's a shame because it's all about money.
It's all about money.
About, you know, winning and about
It would be better back in the old days, like in the 70s, 80s. It was about being with your team forever, everybody being together, you fight, but there's no loyalty at all. Everybody just floats around. The only thing we do is root for the jerseys on most sports, and that just gets old. It would be nice to have real teams that stick around for a long time, players stick around and make something of it. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I had stopped because I saw a little notice from Instagram and the Eagles in particular. All right, so let's close the NBA out. That's it for Washington. Anything else for your team?
Dismal. Just dismal.
Dismal. All right. Let's go on to the NBA. I mean the NFL.
Are you sure?
Excuse me.
Bless you. I know it's gotta make you sick. So that's why you're sneezing.
Right, it's making me sick. So let me share this. And
tonight, I'm more in the mindset of what transpired in the stadium. And, you know, certainly what we did and didn't do. Not a big picture mentality to sit here tonight.
How do you approach a decision about your future?
I'm not even in that mindset as I sit here tonight. I'm more in the mindset of what transpired in this stadium and, you know, certainly what we did and didn't do. Not a big picture mentality to sit here tonight.
How do you approach a decision about your future?
I'm not even in that mindset as I sit here tonight.
Okay, so he said he's not in that mindset, Mike Tomlin of the Pittsburgh Steelers, but yet he goes and he resigns. I mean, I guess I would too. Honestly, I would resign before they fired me because he could have taken the chance that they would have fired him. I mean, he's been with them, over a decade. He's won one Super Bowl with them. He's taken them to the playoffs multiple times. He, he's become actually a pretty big institution in Pittsburgh. And the question is, where will he go? I'm sure somebody will pick him up, but what do you think about Tomlin?
This is a tragedy for Pittsburgh because he's a great coach. He's a top 5 coach, and his record is like, let's say around 201 to around 120, maybe. Almost 2-1 wins to losses. You don't have that with coaches. This guy's an excellent coach. He's a genius. He's a huge loss for them. I don't know why they would fire him. He made it to the playoffs. I don't know why they fired Harbaugh that for Baltimore that lost the week before to Pittsburgh because of a missed field goal. And it wasn't the coach's fault. Harbaugh is another coach that's excellent. These are excellent coaches. And you said he's feared of getting fired. I don't think the Rooneys would have done it. They've only had 3 coaches since 1969. I think they would have kept him. And he's one of the best coaches in the league. It's not his fault that they bring in quarterbacks that are inferior. They've got Aaron Rodgers, who did a great job for what he was at 41 years old, and he took him to the playoffs. And they would have had a better playoffs if it wasn't for what's his face that punched a guy. What's his name? The Metcalf that punched a guy, and he missed the last 2 games. That's not the coach's fault either. He didn't tell the guy to go punch the guy in the stands. So no, that for him to quit is premature. He shouldn't have done it. He's a great coach, and he shouldn't have been in fear of his job, because the Rooneys are very loyal, and he deserves the loyalty of the ownership, because he has kept Pittsburgh relevant every year. He's won every year. He's got a positive record every year. You can't beat that. They can't bring in somebody with his experience and his knowledge. And I think he might go into broadcasting. Maybe he's tired of coaching, and he's tired of working with inferior quarterbacks.
Tired of coaching. I mean, he may coach, but he'll just coach somewhere else. I mean, these guys have multi-million-dollar contracts. This isn't something. I mean, if he went into broadcasting, he's not going to get the same amount of money as he did coaching.
Oh, he'll get millions in broadcasting, and he'll just put his feet up. Coaching is a 20-hour-a-day job, even in the off season. They work constantly. They never stop. They're the brains of the operation, and they never stop learning and working all day, all night, and that's what they do. No, I don't know. He's still a relatively young man. Maybe he wants to get into broadcasting, put his feet up, and have fun and have some laughs with people.
Mike, and we're talking about Mike Tomlin.
Right.
I didn't even waste my time telling. He's 53 years old. I didn't even waste my time telling cousin Todd who we're talking about, because he doesn't know and doesn't care. But we're talking about Mike Tomlin and how he resigned.
I know you're talking about. You're talking about Mike Tyson. Come on.
They might grab the Baltimore coach and replace him. They need a good coach to replace him, and he's good. Harbaugh's good. Both of the Harbaugh guys are good, but he shouldn't leave. Maybe he'll reconsider, and maybe they'll talk to him. But just give him some more money. I would keep him, because great coaches are hard to find, and he's one of the greatest coaches ever. I believe.
So let me show my screen. I have to show 2 things about the Philadelphia Eagles before Ogunna comes on and what Ogunna does about the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh, man.
The screen, it says, I have decided. Let me see if I can make this bigger. 4 hours ago today, I've decided to make a change to offensive coordinator. I met with Kevin today to discuss the difficult decision, as he is a great coach who has my utmost respect. He has been integral to this team's success over the last 5 years, not only to the on-field product, but behind the scenes as a valued leader for our players and organization. I have no doubt he will continue to have a successful coaching career. Ultimately, when we fall short of our goals, that responsibility lies on my shoulders. Head coach Nick Sirianni. So let me also play this again before I let you go on. Let me share my screen. Here we are.
That happens in this game. But I love him. Yeah, I was trying to get him off the field, because we were about to punt, and that was really it. So I love AJ. I think he knows how I feel about him. I have a special relationship with him. We probably went through every emotion you can possibly have together. We've laughed together. We've played together. We've yelled at each other. We're both emotional. I was trying to get him off the field, and you never want. That happens in this game. That happens in this game, but I love him. Yeah, I was trying to get.
It sounds like Ogunna. He was saying he never wants to get off the field. But I was trying to get him off.
What? It sounds like, I don't get what you just said. It sounds like what?
The coach sounded like he was saying, I was trying to get him off the field, but he never wants to leave the field. That's what he said.
It did not. He was just saying, I was trying to hurry him off the field. That's it. Stop making up stuff, Republican.
Todd's trying to get me because he came on the show earlier before the show started, and I didn't tell him that Keith was already on the show, and Keith could hear him talking. And so Todd got mad at me, so he tries in any other way to get me back, which is silly. has nothing to do with it. It sounds just like President Trump. So we'll move forward with Ogunna and the Eagles.
Yeah, that was a very disappointing loss to the 49ers. I mean, they were banged up and we just didn't come prepared. There was a poor game plan. Refs didn't help. The offensive line was horrible. They did some creative things early, but then they got away from it. Shanahan, the coach of the 49ers, made adjustments. He was shorthanded. They lost Kittle, and they still were able to beat us just through his creativity. And our defense had 2 turnovers, so we won the turnover battle, but we weren't able to score. And it's been a problem all year. And A.J. Brown had talked about this early on, like week 4 or 5, where he said the offense is predictable. It's not creative. They're not scheming folks open. The last play of the game, they ran 4 vertical routes against zone. Now, for those of you who don't understand football, zone is probably, that means the defenders are covering portions of the field. And when you run 4 verticals and attack a zone defense, that means you're running into their strength. You only do 4 verticals if they have man-to-man coverage. So why would you run 4 verticals, this player straight up the field, and you need to get 11 yards? I mean, the players had given up on the OC a long time ago. So it just seemed like there were no adjustments made, and a subpar 49ers team was able to beat the Eagles in Philly. So it was an embarrassment. And tempers flared, and of course you saw what happened on the sideline. Shaky Jakey, Missy Elliott was missing extra points. It just seems like this year this team had given up on not only the offense but on trying to repeat. It's hard enough to repeat in this league, but the way that they played, and Jalen's not at all immune to any of this. He didn't play like he normally plays. There were parts in the game where he could have taken over, took off running, and really tried to show some go-at-itness.
Yeah, but
again, it's the last game of the year, but it just wasn't there. And so all around, there had to be some changes. You saw how they got rid of Kevin Patullo. So
okay.
I think, there could
Can
be more
I
to
say
go.
something?
What, Todd? Todd, you just itching to say some nonsense.
No, I'm not.
The city's in mourning. You're going to come in here and talk about Kevin Hart. They fired Kevin Hart. Surprise.
Anyway.
What, Todd? What do you need to say?
Please, Todd.
Had no business giving the ball over and over again to that honky lover. I mean, to what is the guy that keeps
Saquon Barkley?
Yeah, him. He should not keep giving the ball to Charles Barkley. His days are over. And so
he should be a commentator.
Thank you. They knew he was going to keep giving the ball, so they were ready to tackle him immediately. So him, and then who's that other black guy they was throwing the ball to, and he kept dropping it deliberately?
A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
Him. He was scared to cut. He was allergic to catching the ball.
So stop throwing it to them. Just throw it to somebody else, not those two. Stay away from those two.
Well, he also threw it to Smitty, and Smitty was, he got caught in 2 safeties coming at him, and the ball, got over his hand. But, Philadelphia cannot continue to do 3rd down and punting every time.
The most 3-and-out team. It's just not right. It's just not right. It's like Todd having a perm in his beard. Some things just should not don't go together.
The reason Philadelphia lost was because Frisco played as a team. They had Kittle go down, but the next man up. It didn't matter to them. They played as a unit. They played as a team. That's why they're dangerous. I'm taking them with the points going against Seattle, and they may win straight up because they are playing as a team. Seattle is a beast. Seattle's got a ferocious defense, but there's something about the 49ers that just play like they're the underdog and they're ready to go. But
when it comes
to the Eagles didn't. The Eagles didn't play with any fire.
No.
Right. It's playoff football. It's win or go home.
Right.
They were the 5-point favorite, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I knew going into the 4th quarter, I was like, look,
5.5.
5.5 point favorite. I knew going into the fourth quarter, I was like, if the Eagles aren't up 2 possessions going into the fourth and are forcing them to go vertical every time, we're going to lose this game. And then sure enough, that's what happened. I mean, we couldn't move the ball at all.
No.
And like you said, A.J. Brown made some crucial drops. The refs didn't help. There were some holding calls that just went uncalled.
They weren't calling any holding calls for any of these games. Holding was happening rampantly. They were just letting them play. That's
right, and that's why all the games were fairly close except for last night. Right? They were fairly close because they were letting them play. And the thing is, the Eagles had a shot at the end. So despite all of that, they still had a game-winning drive in front of them. And they
I needed them to win, man. I bet on y'all.
So most Eagles fans were hoping that we would somehow squeak by. The thing is, had we won, they may have messed around and kept Kevin Patullo, and they needed to make a change. They need to bring somebody in. I'm thinking maybe Frank
you're looking for the silver lining in that dark cloud you're in, brother.
Well, I mean, what else can I do? What else can I do?
I don't blame you. I do the same thing.
It was a waste of a season. All right.
Yeah.
You got your defending Super Bowl champs. You got everybody back. And the most you can muster is 4 verticals on a 4th and 11 with the MVP of the Super Bowl, with A.J. Brown, All-Pro, with Smitty, with these weapons on our team. That's the best we could do is just send them on
but you know what? You made you still made the playoffs. That's cool, man.
Yeah,
so
at the end of the day, we won the division back-to-back in 20 years. And I think that was the theme for the year because they want these new teams. You have you have Sam Donald or whatever. What's the name? For the quarterback for the Seattle. He's going to go up against Shanahan's offense. So that's the West Coast battle right there. And then you have Chicago versus the Rams, which is going to be a great matchup as well. So
I like Chicago.
You got these ancient franchises that are going head to head. It's basically going to be a West Coast, East Coast thing. So I think on the AFC side, I think we're going to have New England and Denver.
I have it out here now, Ogunna.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about the Seattle 49ers game. First off, Seattle has beat the 49ers twice this season. I don't know if they're going to be able to do it a third time.
Right. I'm with you, Staci.
A third time.
I'm with you, Staci.
49ers.
They're fighting hard. They're fighting like they're a crew. They're a group. They're tight. They're a tight unit, and they're fighting like a tight unit. I'm digging them, man. They really are tight. But Seattle's defense is tough.
Here's the thing. You got to look at it. They're going to not have – they don't have Kittle. Okay?
Right.
They got CMC, which is, Christian McCaffrey.
Mm-hmm.
They only scored 3 points against this team 2 weeks ago. They only could muster 3 points. And Seattle's defense, unlike Philadelphia's, they actually – Philadelphia won the turnover battle. They forced 2 turnovers. The offense let them down. And Seattle's offense, as long as Sam Donald doesn't just doesn't crap on himself.
Yeah, he could do that.
In there with a plan. They got good receivers. San Francisco's defense, as great as the defensive coordinator, what's his name? Jets old coach. As long as he comes up with his scheme, they may stay in it for a little bit. But I don't think they'll be able to keep up. And it's on the road in Seattle. You just had an emotional win. So if you think about the 49ers are flying back and forth across the country. They've been injured. They got an emotional win against the Super Bowl champion. So they're going to be on a high, right? So they're going to have some momentum. But I just don't think they're going to be able to keep up. And, please believe, Seattle, they hate the 49ers.
They hate each other.
That environment up there in the Pacific
Northwest
like
Dallas,
is going to be rocking. So it's going to be a tall order. Now, if the game is close, if they keep it close, just like in Philadelphia, if they keep it close, they're going to have a shot. But I just don't know if Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey are enough to go up against that Seattle defense.
Okay, so let me say
that's true. I know that's true, but 7.5 is a lot of points.
I don't believe.
Well, I take 49ers in the points.
Okay, let me say I don't believe Brock Purdy and McCaffrey are enough to go against the Seahawks because first off, the 49ers don't have all their weapons that they usually have. And even though they're hungry, they can't overcome their handicap. And even though they have lost twice already to Seattle, I think Seattle, because what's at stake in this playoff, go home, win or go home, what's at stake? It's going to push Seattle over the edge. Now, let's talk about quarterbacks. Purdy, like Hurts, these guys are short. And it is hard to see over those offensive linemen, Cousin Todd, are really big guys. They're 6'8", they're 6'9", and when you have guys that are 6 feet and you're trying to look past them to throw down to your wideouts.
He's been doing that all of his life.
Okay. That means nothing. But
it does so. Once the 49ers take the ice, you'll see.
So, and I think I never got a chance to say this, and I love Jalen Hurts, but guess what? You got to up your game, quarterback Hurts. You got to up your game. I don't want him to leave.
Something's not right with him. He might have an injury that we don't know about, Staci. Something's not right with Hurts. He's not playing up to his standards.
Wait a minute, for he's not. And that's the truth. It does fall on him too. And for Sirianni to sit there and say the buck stops with him and then he doesn't quit himself, there's a problem.
You want Sirianni
to quit?
What do you want everybody to quit for? When
no,
Staci, this is the problem with the NFL. This is the problem with the NFL. Everybody thinks, it's hard to go back to back and win Super Bowl.
Right.
Yes.
Very hard.
That's why it doesn't happen a lot, right?
You can't beat up the Eagles.
You just lost your offensive coordinator, so there's turnover on the coaching staff. There's turnover on the team. And you won a division, right?
Yeah.
But the creativity on the offense took a hit, and it should take a hit because you changed coordinators. Now it's like, okay, let's reset.
You need consistency.
And not to mention the power forwards.
So
you got to have the power forwards.
Jesus. So at the end of the day, you're not – the thing is, Eagles fans always are emotional, and they want quick turnarounds. You've gone to 2 Super Bowls in the last 3 years. You won one of them. You won a division back to back. You got 2 NFC titles. And this coach, Sirianni, has never missed the playoffs. He's on a trajectory to be one of the greatest coaches in NFL history if he keeps
as a Redskin, I would trade you, Ogunna. I would trade you as a Redskin fan. Trade me.
And so this whole notion that somehow we need to fire, and it's either all or nothing.
Yeah, that's
right. And the Saints out here
what Staci does.
Playoffs in 20 years. So
I don't blame Staci either. Staci just wants to win because he's used to winning now.
Make some adjustments on the coaching staff.
So let me say
AJ Brown's not going anywhere either. You got people on the contract. You got the most expensive offense probably in the league right now. You just need a coach or offensive coordinator to go in there and be creative.
Let me say this.
Offensive coordinator. You need a coordinator. Offensive coordinator.
Wait a minute.
There's a reason why you lost coordinators and they become head coaches. They're not going off and just being ball boys. They're leaving the Eagles and becoming head coaches.
Yeah, y'all got garbage. Y'all got garbage offensive coordinators. What happened to y'all? Garbage.
We promoted from within and it didn't work.
Right.
But let me say this. I put a clip on TikTok, on our TikTok page, which is Sporlitiks.com on TikTok, saying that once we win the Super Bowl, we should not allow our coaches to leave because that breaks up your continuity.
You can't stop it, Staci.
No, you have to put that in the contract.
You can't stop it.
Yes, you can if you put it in the contract.
Okay, that's not a bad idea, Staci. Then if you can work it out like that, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, when we start the year, we say, Todd, we don't need you in this conversation. I'm going to mute you. When we start the year and we tell the coaches, listen, if we go make it to the Super Bowl and we win it, you can't leave that next year because we need that continuity. Simple.
Right on. I dig it. I can dig that.
So let me go on. Let's go to the AFC. Todd, the AFC and the NFC, those are the two. Those are the two parts of the NFL. I know Todd doesn't know that.
Yeah,
he's getting better. He's getting better.
No, he's not.
He'll get it.
Ogunna,
you have to encourage him.
And the Broncos and the Patriots and the Texans.
Not.
So all of these are very interesting matchups for their own different purposes. Now, the last man standing from the AFC is Josh Allen. He was the last year's MVP. I do think he's probably on one of the worst Bills teams he's had these last couple of years, but he's going to Denver to go up against Sean Payton and Bo Nix. Now, the thing about Denver is they've been very inconsistent, and I don't know I forgot which week, but Jacksonville went in there and just hammered them, and the Bills outlasted Jacksonville on the road. Now, so this is a put up or shut up year for Josh Allen. You don't have Lamar, you don't have Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. So what he has to do is somehow be Superman. I call him the white Cam Newton, right? He's got to find a way to win.
He's better than Cam Newton, man.
Well, I agree. But he's the same. He's the same style.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Now, but he got better because of Kafka and some of the coaching, because at one point him and Cam were just alike from a mechanic standpoint. He's not a turnover machine anymore. He makes good decisions. He makes plays, but he's getting hammered. He got out of Jacksonville, but they were beating him up.
He's tough, man. He's a tough dude, man.
And so you got to see whether or not he can last throughout the playoffs. Bo Nix, on the other hand, he hasn't won a playoff game yet. The last year, the Bills bounced him from the playoffs. So this is a lick-back game. He's at home, that mile-high stadium. So there's an altitude and everything, adjustments and things like that. There's that element. There's a home field advantage there. But Denver's defense is pretty good. And Josh Allen and Cook are going to have to really make things happen. Do I think the Bills can win? This will probably be my upset pick of the weekend.
Yeah,
if it happens.
I think they can. I think the Bills can win too.
But again, I think what is the Broncos? They're favored by what? No, the Bills are favored.
1 point, but 1 point either way.
Yeah, so that means almost a push, right? So it's like, it could go either way. So Vegas is saying, hey, this is kind of up in the air. This is kind of up in the air here, but that could go either way. It's going to come down to mistakes. If Josh Allen goes out there and does like a Josh Allen mistake, thing, Denver's going to win. But if he goes out there and he makes some of the throws I've seen him make this year, I mean, he's going to be able to not only beat Denver, but beat them handedly, because at the end of the day, he's the only one that's been there and done that consistently the past 3 years in the playoffs from the AFC side. They've gone the last 3 years. He's gotten to the championship game. So he has ice in his veins. So he's been there. So there may be some nerves. And again, the Broncos have been off a week. So there's a lot of that can go into this. So that's going to be an interesting matchup. Now, the Patriots and the Texans.
Well, wait a minute. Before you go there, let me tell you, Buffalo is like my San Francisco team that plays as a team. Buffalo plays as a team. They might be the worst team they've ever had, but they're playing tough together as a team. And Josh Allen is leading them, and Purdy's leading them in San Francisco. Both of these teams are playing hard. I can't bet against them. I've got to bet the Bills. I'd say the Bills, with their experience, with Josh's experience, they may go to the Super Bowl. I don't know.
That's the thing. It's going to come down to their defense. Now, their defense
is awful.
Trevor Lawrence last week looked bad. I mean, Trevor Lawrence had a chance at the end. They got the interception, so they really stepped up. The Bills have to keep this game very close and make it so that Josh Allen could have a Josh Allen moment to win it for him. As long as it's close and they don't get behind the sticks, as long as you don't get like up by 2 possessions on them, Josh Allen's going to find a way to win.
Yeah, I'm pulling for the Bills, man. They just seem to be working hard together with just a little bit. They're making chicken salad, just like Frisco is. As long as they're trying to make chicken salad, I can root for an underdog like that, even though they might be slightly favored.
Quite frankly, if Josh Allen can't get it done this year, he's never going to get it done.
It's done. Same thing with Frisco. If Frisco can't go, they're not going to get it done either.
So I'm taking comfort in San Francisco not being able to beat Seattle, because I do not want San Francisco to be able to play in the Super Bowl in their home stadium.
I don't want them either, but I'm thinking that the Bills will eke out this game as well. We'll see, but I think Josh Allen is going to.
We're out of time.
I have my money on Randall Cunningham. And
this is going to be an interesting game. This is going to be a really good game right here. The Texans defense is playing out of this world.
They're badass. Yeah.
And CJ Stroud, he's doing just enough to win. I'm thinking, so here's the thing. If the Texans play the Bills, the Texans will probably go to the Super Bowl. So if the Texans win this game, because again, I've seen Josh Allen against this defense, and they got his number, man. Did you see what they did to Aaron Rodgers? It was senior abuse. It was senior abuse. They were beating him in the dirt. There was one fumble where they basically took the ball from his hand, just ran it in. So they just
they also hit him in his hit him in his helmet, which should be a 15-yard penalty, and they didn't call it on that play where he got a touchdown. The defense got a touchdown. They hit him in the helmet, but they didn't call it.
But they also picked up one of his offensive linemen.
Oh my God!
And threw him. I mean, he threw the offensive lineman onto Aaron Rodgers, and that's how Aaron Rodgers got sacked by it. Because that's how Hunter and those boys were getting after him. So this is going to be
they were tough. There's no doubt. They're tough. You're right. They're tough. They're a tough team. Tough defense.
I got to move on.
So I mean, this is also up in the air. I think the Patriots being at home maybe have a little edge to them because they faced the Chargers defense and they were able to pull it out. It was slow at first. It was a very slow grind game at first. It was like 6-3, and then they finally made a play and they can't do that against the Texans. The Texans are going to be, if you give this defense can score on you. So they scored 14 points. It may be a similar situation. I'm taking the Texans in this game. So I'm thinking Bills, Texans, and that's going to be a grudge match in the AFC Championship game because both teams haven't been to the Super Bowl in the last over 20 years. Texans are going to their first. I kind of like that Cinderella story there.
Yeah, that's a nice story. I kind of like that too. But I've got to move on. Sorry about that. Let me share my screen to talk about this next. I wish Keith was on.
He'll be back.
The Supreme Court seemed likely to uphold state laws that prohibit transgender girls and women from playing on school sports teams. The justices heard arguments for more than 3 hours in cases from Idaho and West Virginia, which are among more than 24 Republican-led states that prohibit transgender athletes from playing sports in schools and colleges. The court's conservative majority signaled that it would find that the laws do not violate either the Constitution or the federal law known as Title IX, which prohibits sex discrimination in education. That law has been responsible for a huge growth in sports opportunities for girls and women in elementary schools through high schools, as well as at the college level. The justices in just the past year have upheld multiple restrictions against transgender people, and their rulings came amid a push by President Donald Trump to restrict transgender rights in the United States. A decision in the cases is expected by June.
Well,
I'm sorry. We won't get a decision until June, but it was today that they were, looking at that. Anyone have a comment on it?
I think maybe that adult males shouldn't play with adult women in their sports, after a certain age. They probably shouldn't. And I'm pretty good with that. I think most people are. I think it's like an 80-20% issue that people don't want men to be in women's sports and be in women's locker rooms. That's not cool. It never was like that before. And I think most of the people don't want that. So I'm good with that too. If 80%, 90% of the people think something, I'm pretty good with that. So I'm good. Let's just not have these transgender people. Maybe they can have their own sports. It doesn't matter. Maybe they can have their own TV channel and whatever. It doesn't matter. And just stay out of women's sports. Women shouldn't join men's sports. Women transgender shouldn't join the NFL, whatever. Just let's try to keep things as physically normal as possible, and don't have men playing with women in their sports and be in their locker rooms and stuff. That's all. That's easy. That's something we can all agree on, right?
These specific sports, though, because I have girls play on my flag football team.
Oh, I mean, but they're not women, right? They're girls. Are they girls or are they grown women?
And at different age.
So there should
different age limit.
There should be
like age.
You're trying to put guardrails around this, right? I mean, because when you say
if people want to play badminton or tennis, mixed tennis or whatever, stuff like that, I don't know. But if it's like a sport where it's physical, where a man can hurt a woman, that's just not cool.
So you want to regulate what sports you're talking about then?
Yeah, it doesn't. It's not every sport. It could be like darts, or bowling. If they want to have bowling with men and women bowling against each other, I'm cool with that.
The reason why I'm saying this is because why is this an issue? I don't understand.
Right.
I don't know why this has been such a
this
big,
is the Supreme Court. It's making an issue.
I mean, we're spending a lot of time talking through these issues.
Right.
And I think to that point, I don't know, some of the large, it's so nuanced, right?
There's so much more going on. Why are we worried about this? I got you, Gunnar.
Why are we worried about this? But also, I mean, if there are certain sports that both genders can play, I mean, how does that impact this?
Right. That's right.
It seems like it's such a small percentage of the population that this impacts. Why are we spending so much money talking about it, right?
Right. So much money and so much time, right?
All right.
I don't know.
I get you on that.
Instead of making it, because everything's unique,
you want to have a
there
comment?
may be some type of special commission or voting or something that's happening at the high school level to determine whether or not what sports and all that.
Yeah, I just don't want to mess up girls' sports where a guy can come in and be a weightlifter and lift more than the other woman or do something like that. I don't want to make it where women can't compete.
You know, this is just people are going to continue to sue and make money, and this is.
I just want women to be able to compete against women and stuff that women can do.
Excuse me, you got to let somebody else talk.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Keith.
Yeah, I agree with both of you guys, Ogunna, and I don't see why we have to even deal with this subject, to tell you the truth. And much as we disagree on all these things, I have to agree with Ogunna on this one. But the only answer I can give is that the left wants to deal with it. So there it is. And
no, it's not the left that wants to deal with it. It's the right.
I don't think
it's the right that wants to deal with it.
Why, Keith? My challenge to you: go through one show without saying the left.
Okay.
Can you go through a show without saying the left or liberals or anything like that? Do they keep you up at night or something?
How about if I say Democrat? Is that okay?
But
Democrat?
it's not.
Don't label it at all. Just talk about the issue.
Well, but the problem is that the reality is that there are people that are dealing with it, that want to deal with it. So what are you going to do? They're in leadership.
But in general, if you take a label off of it, if you take a label off of it and just talk about the issue, there's a common sense aspect to it. So as soon as you start saying Democrat and liberal, you cloud everything because it becomes just as simple as that. It doesn't become specific what we're talking about.
All right, if I take all labels off, then obviously the truth is that the people who are dealing with this have a certain worldview, quote unquote. Okay, how about that? Can I say worldview?
Right. So okay, and I know we're going to get to some of these subjects, but if I say, hey, Bernie Sanders said that corporations have no business buying homes, right? We should not allow companies to go in there and buy homes and make money off of that. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Oh, guess who said it? Trump did. My bad. It wasn't Bernie Sanders. It was Donald Trump. Now, do you change your opinion?
No, I don't change my opinion.
Whatever. Stop.
All right, let me move on. I got to move on.
Got him.
Sorry.
All right. And that's why you don't use labels. You just focus on the issue.
Yeah, no labels. Something that we tried to push years ago, but it didn't work. No labels is the way to go.
Another exchange of warnings between President Donald Trump and Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel have certainly raised tensions on the island. This morning, the Cuban president said once again that there are no talks between Cuba and the United States, apart from technical issues regarding migration. Cubans are already in a severe economic crisis. So when President Trump says there's not going to be any more cheap oil for Cuba, referring to recent operations in Venezuela, it's not only the gasoline that is going to be running out. It's important to remember that all thermoelectric plants in this country run on oil, and it's hard to say how long the population will endure even more blackouts. As for how Cubans will react to President Donald Trump's comment that Cuba should negotiate, should deal before it's too late, as well as President Diaz-Canel response saying that Cuba would be ready to defend itself to the last blood, it might be too early to say. It's wait and see.
Okay. President Trump warning Cuba to make a deal now or face the consequences. What are those consequences that you think they are, and why should Cuba make a deal now? How will according to that report from Associated Press, how can their lives be better? Cousin Todd?
Capitalism.
Their lives can't get any better with this president wanting to war against them after saying that he's going to end these forever wars. He's trying to start 3 new ones. It is.
So who's mentioning Republicans now, Ogunna? Okay, there you go.
He did he say Republicans? He said he was talking about the administration.
I'm talking about Donald Trump.
And I rest my case.
I'm talking about Donald Trump said he was ending wars and he's not going to do any more forever wars, and now he's starting 3 new ones, is what I said to you.
I know, but I was just saying what Ogunna, he balled me out because I mentioned.
I didn't ball you out. You're trying to get your lick back, and it's not working.
So now here you are.
That's not what he didn't say. The right. He didn't say the right is starting wars. He said this administration.
Donald Trump represents the right. Conservatives.
Does he know? I disagree.
Of course.
All right, let me move on.
Well, just a minute. Let me just finish this out by saying he's a contradiction walking. And the last war we were in for 20 years, does anybody remember that war?
Afghanistan.
And how much money did that cost per day?
But it turned into about $1 trillion at least. I don't know a day.
That war cost per day $100 million a day.
Right.
Now.
That's because we wanted the poppy seed.
Can you shut up?
No, I'm telling you the truth.
They're telling people like you and Stephen and Keith, you don't deserve health care because we can't afford it. Do you see what a lie that is? What a contradiction? But they can spend $100 million a day for 20 years on a war and tell Americans, oh, we can't afford health care for you. Sorry. And so this is what, now I'm going to say Republicans think you cannot have health care if you can't afford it. Democrats think just you being an American citizen, you deserve health care. That's the difference between Republicans and Democrats.
They didn't make it. Democrats didn't make it happen. Democrats didn't make it happen.
They tried to because
Todd is your standard. Todd is your standard.
See?
The Democrats and the Republicans are work for big pharma and big insurance companies, and we don't have a chance as people.
So let me ask you,
it's Republicans and Democrats that are keeping us from getting good health care. We're not getting good health care because of the Republicans and the Democrats. Neither one of them want us to have anything. The Democrats and the Republicans are compromised. They don't care about you, Todd. They don't care about you, Keith. The Republicans don't care about you, Keith, and the Democrats don't care about you, Todd. That's where y'all are screwed up. They don't care about you.
Oh, shut up.
Ogunna's right.
You're reading yourself.
What war has Trump started?
What war has Trump started?
Yeah, you said he's going to start some wars.
I said,
is he at war with Venezuela?
Not yet. Because
is he at war with Cuba?
Not yet.
Are either one of those countries physically capable of taking on the United States?
Greenland? Greenland too. Don't leave them out.
Oh, so I don't see. Here's the thing, because again, if you want to talk about this, it's the art of the deal. You read The Art of the Deal, and you see what he's doing, right?
Okay,
he believes in peace through strength.
He's been bankrupt 6 times.
No, let me finish. It's about leverage. It's about leverage, right? So he knows that the U.S. has forever had sanctions against Cuba. The reason why their economy is in the tanker is because we don't agree with their government. Maduro, who was a dictator, we've been putting pressure on him too. And they're selling their oil to each other and to our adversaries, China. right?
So what?
He
So
went in
what?
there
It's
and he
their
took over
oil. It's
Venezuela
their
so
oil.
he can put pressure on China, and
It's
so he can put
capitalism.
pressure on Cuba to change their governments.
Oh,
And they're coming to the table and they're working with them, right? So again, this is his whole thing of peace through strength. He's saying, I'm gonna put pressure on China.
shut
I'm
up.
gonna
He's
take
trying to
away
make him
one
like
of your
normal.
allied partners. I'm gonna put pressure on
All right,
NATO.
Ogunna.
He's
All right,
he's putting
Ogunna.
It
pressure
doesn't
on
matter
NATO,
what
right?
happens to the people in these countries
All
or the people
right.
in this country.
He
Donald
doesn't.
Trump's
He
going to
doesn't at
amass
all.
all the power of the world.
He's looking at it from an American first perspective.
No, he's
saying,
not.
Hey,
All right,
it's a
Ogunna.
what companies did he go off and
Companies. He's looking at it for big business. He's not looking at it for the American people.
Where are
He's
those
helping
businesses
big
located?
business.
Where are those businesses located?
It doesn't matter in America because they're bringing Chinese workers over here. They're bringing
Who can
Indian
buy
workers
stock?
over here.
Who can buy stock in these businesses?
Okay,
It doesn't matter.
I got to move
They're
on.
not.
Thank
They're not
you.
using American workers. They're going to use Chinese and Indian workers because Donald Trump said American workers aren't smart enough to do these jobs.
Okay,
But
thank
here's
you.
the thing: you voted for him, Stephen. He's using
I know
the
I
leverage
screwed
to
up.
put
I
pressure
can
on
admit
China.
it.
You said that. You said that.
Greenland. Russia or China will take Greenland, and I am not going to let that happen.
See, China's the
He's a
biggest.
worldwide dictator. That's what he is. He's a
Let me start it
worldwide
over.
dictator.
Just the North American hemisphere. He wants
Nope.
to control North America.
He wants to control everything.
Shut up. Let's hear this boy.
And I'm not letting that happen. If we don't take Greenland, Russia or China will take Greenland, and I am not going to let that happen. Yeah, sure. I'd love to make a deal with them. It's easier. But one way or the other, we're going to have Greenland. Well, maybe NATO would be upset.
No, that's not America. That's not the United States.
I like NATO. I just wonder whether or not if we needed NATO, would they be there for us? I'm not sure they would. You know, we spend a lot of money on NATO, and I'm not sure they would. But Greenland should make the deal because Greenland does not want to see Russia or China take over. They don't go there. It's very far away from Greenland. And Greenland, basically, their defense is 2 dog sleds. Do you know that? You know what their defense is? 2 dog sleds. In the meantime, you have Russian destroyers and submarines.
Look at that dizzy
China
blonde behind it.
destroyers and submarines all over the place. We're not going to let that happen. And if it affects NATO, then it affects NATO. But, you know, they need us much more than we need them, I will tell you.
Man, see, okay, so this is important. This is very important what he just said.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. And
What
we're out of time.
what he said is very important. Whether you agree or disagree, even the situation in the Ukraine, it's never been so. The situation in the Ukraine is a proxy war, and it's not a proxy war against Russia. It's a proxy war against NATO.
Right.
Because what Donald Trump has been saying is that we've been paying NATO for a long time. They haven't been paying their fair share. He wants to put pressure on NATO to put up or shut up. How does he do that? He takes over Greenland, right? He puts pressure on them to say, hey, if you want us to be in the Ukraine, you go in there and you fund the Ukraine. Use your money, right? Now, do I agree with this? Not necessarily, because a lot of that funding had to do with defense contracting and U.S. jobs. So I wasn't really a big fan of that. But he's basically he's realigning America with a more transactional, populist, semi-conservative government, meaning that if you want us to pay or you want us to spend our money or spend our capital resources, NATO or anybody else, you're going to have to pay for that, right? And you're going to pay for that, and it's not necessarily going to go to all Americans. It's going to go to mostly their corporations and things like that. So I agree with Stephen there. But he's using the U.S. as leverage to make these deals, right? So Greenland, he talked about the Iron Dome. He talked about, it's a new bastion of frontier for America. He's also talked about Canada being the new 51st state, and he's deporting all the brown people. And in order to deport all the brown people, you got to have a place to send them. So he's going to send them to Venezuela. Hence why he's taking that over. He's going to have, and then Cuba is a bastion of capitalism because you got gambling, got all cigars, you got all that stuff. So he's realigning the Western Hemisphere in the U.S. image.
Okay, I got to move on. Thank you.
We can't hear you, Todd.
You and your people, where are they sending you?
Well, that's why they bombed Nigeria, because he's gonna bomb Nigeria and he's gonna make a deal there, and then he's gonna send all of us back to Africa. No, I'm just kidding. Look.
Well, yeah, but you can stay on the
know.
show because you can still do this. You can stay on the show even if you go back to Nigeria.
Hey, I don't know if that's part of the equation, but I do know that, I mean, he's doing everything he said he was going to do. All right. So
he didn't say he was going to take over the entire world.
You know, he said America
no, he's
first.
doing the Western Hemisphere. Okay, let's hear this, please. And comment.
The president's on his way to Detroit. He did talk about Powell on his way. Take a listen.
Well, he's billions of dollars over budget, so he either is incompetent or he's crooked. I don't know what he is, but he doesn't do a very good job.
So he's incompetent or he's crooked.
At least he didn't say criminal, because that was the real worry, right?
Okay, so that was President Trump talking. That was President Trump talking about federal chair Jerome Powell. Now, when we have President Trump looking to replace or looking to actually bring charges against Jerome Powell, that is going to make our markets very skittish. And if our markets are very skittish, we're going to have a lot of economic problems.
Not for long. Not for long. Trump is going to replace him. Trump's going to replace Powell when his time is up. He's going to
replace him with someone that really, I don't know, has.
I know who he's going to replace him with. If you let me tell you, Staci.
Go ahead.
He's going to replace him with the head of BlackRock. So he will do whatever he wants. Donald Trump is all about the guys on the very top that are running everything. That's who Donald Trump is with.
No, he's
We're not a part of. We're not a part of that. They're part of a team that's not a part of us. He's gonna announce that the head of BlackRock will be the Fed chief,
right,
and that's
so
what's going to happen.
Let me play Jerome Powell's response.
I might not be 100%. Don't bet on it, but take my odds.
Friday, the Department of Justice served the Federal Reserve with grand jury subpoenas, threatening a criminal indictment related to my testimony before the Senate Banking Committee last June. That testimony concerned in part a multi-year project to renovate historic Federal Reserve office buildings. I have deep respect for the rule of law and for accountability in our democracy. No one, certainly not the chair of the Federal Reserve, is above the law. But this unprecedented action should be seen in the broader context of the administration's threats and ongoing pressure. This new threat is not about my testimony last June or about the renovation of the Federal Reserve buildings. It is not about Congress's oversight role. The Fed, through testimony and other public disclosures, made every effort to keep Congress informed about the renovation project. Those are pretexts. The threat of criminal charges is a consequence of the Federal Reserve setting interest rates based on our best assessment of what will serve the public, rather than following the preferences of the president. This is about whether the Fed will be able to continue to set interest rates based on evidence and economic conditions, or whether instead monetary policy will be directed by political pressure or intimidation. I have served at the Federal Reserve under 4 administrations, Republicans and Democrats alike. In every case, I have carried out my duties without political fear or favor, focused solely on our mandate of price stability and maximum employment. Public service sometimes requires standing firm in the face of threats. I will continue to do the job the Senate confirmed me to do, with integrity and a commitment to serving the American people. Thank you.
All right. Let's start with Cousin Todd, because Cousin Todd seemed really bored.
That was a long response. It
was only a minute. It was only a minute.
Okay, well.
He's got attention deficit disorder, man.
So, this is very important because this sets prices. We just got the December job numbers, which were very low. The December job numbers did not increase. He's trying to keep our economy strong and steady and not buckle to the pressure from the president.
Yeah, well, so what? When you vote, Stephen has to pay a price. You voted for him. So you were dumb enough. You think he loves us. He's a fair Christian guy, and he made you look like an idiot. He was the same.
I don't have any pride. You can't hurt me. I don't have any pride, man. All I have is the truth. I don't have pride. I got the truth, man.
Okay, just shut up. You're always wrong. I'm a never
I'm
Trump.
not.
I love Trump. I'm voting for Trump. He loves
Trump does
everybody.
some good things. Trump does some good things. So did Hitler.
Stephen, listen.
Yes, sir.
You were wrong, and now you admit, just like you told me. Anyway, you were wrong.
At first, I was a never Trumper, so I was right to start with. But you do. Like I told you, Todd, you have a media that washes your brain, and Keith has a media that washes his brain. It's the same CIA that washes your brains. They wash my brain too. They wash everybody's brain. You got to cut them off.
And we told you he's the same person he was when he first got elected. He didn't change. People just got dumber.
No, he did change. I did not.
Okay, Todd, you have to stop. Everybody has to stop. So I want to hear from Keith, then Stephen, then Ogunna on the fact that the Federal Reserve is tasked with keeping inflation in check, unemployment low, and keeping the financial system operating smoothly in our country. For the president to put pressure on the Federal Reserve chairman, he started with trying to fire
That's who he is.
Governors, one of the Federal Reserve governors, but now for him to put pressure on him to leave so that he can have someone in there who will do the financial system the way he wants it to go. How is that going to benefit Americans?
It's not. He never wants to benefit Americans.
And then Stephen.
Well, I'm gonna have to agree with Todd on that one. I mean, I'll let Ogunna, the expert, talk about it, but obviously he was keeping interest rates higher than what they weren't fitting the market. I mean, we were getting things are improving, but yet he's still lagging back with these interest rates. Like I said, I'm gonna let Ogunna be the expert on that one because that's what he does.
Stephen.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, he's going to be replaced, but I got to answer Todd real quick. I go where the evidence takes me. You don't. You never said anything negative about the former administration when Joe Biden had a brain that wasn't working. You didn't say anything about it. You didn't do anything. You never said it. But I'll say on my side when my side is wrong, but you don't. All you do is criticize Trump. You never say anything that your side does wrong because you're monolithic that way. I'm not that way. What I am is I call balls and strikes. When Trump does good, I say it's good. When he does bad, I say it's bad. And I think that's what everybody should do. I think we should all look at what's best for all of us people, that what is best that our government's doing. And I don't want to take sides. I'm a lover of Trump. Trump is my golden idol. I'm a lover of Biden or Obama. I'm not a lover of politicians like you people are. There are politicians that act like they're above us, but we should be running the world. We should be saying what's going to happen in this country, not the politicians. They represent us, but they're not representing us. And Trump's not representing us right now. I didn't vote for Trump to murder people and take over countries. I didn't vote for that.
You kind of did. You
I'll-
kind of did.
Right.
Well, so here's
No,
the
I
thing.
like it better when our country was doing it.
When during the pandemic, there was this. We spent a lot of money to get us out of it, right? And the calculus that the economists that were pushing at the time was we'd rather deal with inflation than to deal with, the markets falling apart. So they pumped a lot of money into the economy in order to prop up the economy. Now, fast forward to the election, all the Republicans did was come back and say, look what Joe Biden did. He did all this and he ruined the economy. That's why we have all the prices. But that's what they wanted. And they wanted the prices to go up because they rather have that than a Great Depression. And so fast forward to today, the Fed has kept interest rates high and they're kind of bringing them down a little bit, but they're trying to do it in moderation. But when you have an administration that has promised, I think he's promised 3-4% GDP growth, and then couple that with the tariffs that he put in place. I mean, the Fed chair is like, man, we can't drop interest rates. He wants to drop interest rates, and that way the tariff won't have the same impact as they normally do. Because what that does is you drop interest rates, people can borrow money at lower interest rates, and they won't feel the impact of the tariffs. Because what's happening, and it's a lag in the economy where it takes several quarters for prices to catch up. Now you're starting to see the tariffs in the economy because we're not hiring as much. Unemployment's going up because people are being replaced by AI, and companies are not hiring because there's a lot of uncertainty and there's a lot of tariffs going on, and it's kind of impacting building, energy costs, and all these other things. In order to counteract that, you got to have control of the Fed, because that will, if you lower interest rates, people will start borrowing again and spending money more. That's the idea. Now, to Trump's defense, he's also talked about some other things.
No, that's right. No. Just come back on. I'm sorry.
So he's also talked about other things like the inventory and housing affordability and things like that. He ordered Fannie and Freddie to buy up mortgages. And what that does is it stabilizes the housing market, so that may impact housing interest rates, because you can drop interest rates and housing interest rates don't necessarily have to go down either. So the bottom line of it is there is a separation of the Fed and the executive branch for a reason, right?
All right. Well, you're losing me and Todd now. You're kind of rambling on, man. You're going deep.
Well, I'm telling you, you should be independent of the executive branch, because if the executive branch is telling the Fed what to do with interest rates, all that's going to happen is they're going to be susceptible to corruption, because companies.
Of course, man. But you could put a bow on it.
Yes,
I am putting a bow on it.
So what I was doing was I was talking to Keith, is having technical difficulties, and I was trying to talk to him on the phone and tell him to come back on. Thank you, Keith. And while he's not talking,
he has problems every time. What's Keith?
What's
going on?
The CIA's tapping
when
his
he's
phone.
not talking, I will mute him, and when he is talking, I will mute everyone else. That's what we're going to do to try to deal with his problems. But in the meantime, let me share this. This is our last story, and we'll be round table.
Even so against Keith all of a sudden.
I'm not against anybody. I love everybody, man.
Video has been released from the cell phone of the ICE agent who shot Renee Nicole Good in Minneapolis. Jonathan Ross's footage, which was obtained by Alpha News, offers a whole new perspective on the deadly encounter, revealing Renee's wife Rebecca antagonizing ICE agents just moments before Renee peeled off, clipping the agent, prompting him to open fire.
Go ahead.
No.
Get out of the car. Get out of the car.
The new first-person clip comes as various angles of the incident have been analyzed by Americans around the country, dividing the nation as to whom to blame. Viral video filmed by a witness that spread across social media soon after the shooting captured Good's SUV idling across a residential street where ICE agents were conducting an immigration operation. An officer approached her door and ordered her out. She reversed briefly, then began to drive while turning to her right, prompting the agent, since identified as Ross, to jump out of the way and fire 3 shots into the windshield and then the window as it passed. Other surveillance video obtained by CNN also captured the moment leading up to Good's death, showing her plum-colored SUV pulling into frame and then letting out a passenger before making a turn perpendicular to the street, seemingly in an attempt to block traffic on the road where ICE had been operating. While protests have erupted across the nation, according to the Trump administration, there should be no question as to who is at fault. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem said the officer, a 10-year veteran of the agency, had acted in self-defense and was justified in opening fire, and that Good was part of a mob of agitators attempting to thwart ICE's efforts in enforcing President Trump's immigration crackdown. Vice President Vance firmly echoed that message in a press briefing on Thursday, January 8th.
The reason this woman is dead is because she tried to ram somebody with her car, and that guy acted in self-defense. That is why she lost her life, and that is the tragedy.
In any case, the shooting poured gasoline on the long, smoldering tensions between federal immigration agents and protesters who have fought back, at times violently, against the presence of agencies like ICE enforcing the law in their communities.
Okay. This is our round table. We'll start with Keith's not here. I was going to start with Keith. We'll start with Stephen, then Ogunna, and then cousin Todd. that was a horrible. First off, I just want to say that was horrible for Renee Nicole Good to lose her life. They could have just arrested her. She is an American citizen. If she didn't stop the car, you had her license plate number. And even if she got away right then, guess what? You go to her job, you go to her house later on, and you arrest her. That's all. Just arrest her. She didn't have to lose her life. Let's start with Stephen, and then Ogunna, and then Cousin Todd.
Starts off, she was very nice to the cop, and she said, "I'm not mad at you, bro. I'm not mad at you." She's a really nice person. And he went around and walked around the car, and he got in front of the car and got to where he could jump out. He wasn't right in front of a car. He got to the driver's side of a car where he could jump away at any time. Then there's ice on the road, you know, then nobody's flying down the road. And he had plenty of time to get away. He was never in danger. And one of the things of the rules for ICE guys is you don't stand in the back of a car, you don't stand in front of a car. And ICE has no right to go after cars at all. They have no jurisdiction over that. They're trying to get people out of this country. That's what their job is. They don't do traffic stops. They don't do anything like this. The cop got out of his car. She was waving them by. One car went by. She waved another one by, the truck. They got out. They're screaming at her, "Get the fuck out of the car. Get out of the car," screaming at her. She's scared to death. She's just chilling and she's being nice to him. She backs up. I'm gonna tell you what, if somebody's gonna run over somebody, they're not gonna back up first. They're gonna drive first. And then she turned it hard to the right. You can tell her turning hard to the right. The cop changed his cell phone from his right hand to his left hand, pulled his gun before she even had it in drive, had it pointed at her through a window on the right side, shot her through the window, and then shot her from the side from both. He was never in danger, and he murdered this woman. He murdered this woman. And they said 6 months ago he had a bad exchange with something. Like he was holding onto a car and somebody was taking off. He shouldn't have done that in the first place. It's not his job. But he did that, and he got 33 stitches in his leg, and he was all PTSD about it. Why is he out on the field now? He's got a problem. He's in anger issues. He's mad. And after he shot her in her head 3 times, and the car took off and hit a telephone pole, he said, "Effing bitch," after he killed her. That's not a man that's scared. That's not a man that's afraid for his life. That's a man that hates women, and that's a man that killed a woman because he was probably mad at some woman that broke his heart, and he was mad at whoever drug him down the street. He's a less of a man, and he doesn't have any training. The ICE people don't have the same training as a cop. They don't have as much training as somebody who cuts hair for a living. They don't go through the hours of training that they need. That's a brutal guy. And the president, the vice president, and Noam, they all should have said, this cop, we're going to investigate this cop, and we're going to see what happens then. They lied. Everything they said was a lie.
Duh.
Chrissy Noam said they were stuck, and this woman was just running people over, running ICE cops over. President Trump lied. J.D. Vance lied. All of them lied. You cannot support a regime that lies to your face, Keith.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Now we're going to have Keith. We're going to have Keith. Thank you. Go ahead, Keith.
Well, I don't know where Stephen got his information, but I looked at a video. I sent the video out, and it was a direct video that was on the lapel of the officer who got hit. He evidently the video does.
Wait a minute, Keith. Todd, I'm muting you because of the technical difficulty. So when he finishes, I will unmute you, but there's technical stuff going on. That's why I'm doing it. Stop unmuting yourself, Cousin Todd.
No, I was just saying that the video shows, and the video shows that the officer did get hit. The woman turned her wheel towards the officer, and the officer was passing in front, and she turned it towards him, and so he got hit. The camera did show that, and that's good enough for me. I see it. So I don't know where Stephen's coming out with all this information about.
Keith, you think she deserved to die?
She turned opposite of the cop. She turned opposite.
No.
Okay,
no.
Thank you.
That's a damn lie.
But you know,
that's
a damn lie. Be there. Hey,
you're a liar,
guys,
Keith. You're a liar.
Let me just say this. She didn't have to be there. She didn't have to be in that situation. So that is good enough for me. If I had a kid, I would say, don't go. Don't go there. Don't go there. Leave ICE alone.
Thank you.
Let them do their job.
Just stay on and stay muted.
I'm sure Ogunna would agree with that. That's common sense.
Okay, thank you.
Anyway.
Keith. Stay on and stay muted. Ogunna.
I understand the emotion of it, but the law is on the officer's side.
No,
And
it's not.
What happens in this situation is there's a gray area, because to Keith's point, if you're interfering even inadvertently or overtly in a federal operation, which is what was going on, they have purview. I mean, again, it's not good taste. I'm not sitting there saying she deserved to die or that she should have been killed or that even that she was a threat. But in this case, and when the officers triangulated the car, it's in there. They don't have to cede ground, right? So the law is actually on the officer's side. Now, that being said, Stephen mentioned that there's
Depending how
training
you
and
look
there's
at the
things
law.
involved where they shouldn't have engaged, but he was engaged, right? Wrong? He was engaged, right? And it's in his purview to say, hey, if I feel threatened, and again, these guys have been dealing with all kind of stuff all week. You know, protests, they're all hyped up. Not saying it's justified, right? But he doesn't have to cede ground, right? The best thing to do in this situation
That's
is
not the law.
No. He's a federal officer. He
The
doesn't have
law.
to cede ground. He
I'll
doesn't.
tell you.
It's
I'll
not. If
tell
he
you
feels
later.
threatened, he doesn't have to cede ground. That's part.
Now,
Why did he put
okay,
himself
finish
in?
yours.
There's a thing called. There's a thing. I forgot what it's called, but it's. Why did you put yourself in harm's way?
He put himself in harm's way.
It's more of
Wait
a
a minute.
civil.
Wait.
It's not a criminal matter. It's a civil matter. And just like on
He
January
put
6th,
himself there.
just
You
like
said
on
that
January
already.
6th, when the woman went through the window and the officer engaged her and killed her, right? She was seen as a threat, and she's going to get paid. I mean, they paid out her family. The federal government paid out her
$5
family
million.
$5 million, and she was more of a threat than this woman was, because they had guns drawn. They said, "Don't come through this window." She came through anyway, right? But there's a gray area where if officers feel that their life.
Who is he talking about? Came through a window? Who came through a window?
During
Ashley Babbitt?
Ashley
No,
Babbitt
she didn't
came
come through a window. She was on the other side of the door when that coward shot her.
She went through the window.
She
Stephen.
did not.
The video,
Watch the video. Watch the video, liar.
I did.
No, you did not.
Did you
Ashley
watch
Babbitt
the
did not go through there. She shot a one-armed woman through a fucking door.
She was in the window, Stephen.
Bullshit.
In the window.
Bullshit. Watch the video, Ogunna.
That's why you don't have a point in this.
No, I have a point.
She was more of a threat than this woman was.
No, she was not.
She
was on the other side of a door.
She did not yield to the officer's commands. Now, when an officer engaged you,
She had
tells
to-
you to get out the car and do whatever, and you don't follow those instructions, you can be killed if he feels that you're a threat. Right, wrong, or indifferent. This is the America you voted for, Stephen. This is the America we live in now. And what did the administration come out and do? They went out there and they defended the ICE agent.
You voted for him, so it's your fault.
This is where it is. And you voted for the mass deportation. He went up there, he stumped and said, you know what?
Yeah.
We're going to have the largest mass deportation.
Okay, Ogunna, with mass deportation, let me say this to Ogunna. Ogunna,
Todd has to go.
Ogunna, stop.
When you agree to that.
Ogunna,
Go ahead, cousin
stop.
Todd, since you have
With
to go.
mass
Okay. They're not going to let me talk. Anyway, I disagree, but I'll tell you about the law next week. If
We all have to go.
what cops can and can't do. There's limits on what police officers can do.
You're right.
And
right.
so,
You're right. He had no right to murder her.
Right.
Not when they feel threatened.
He wasn't threatened. He put himself in that.
He had the right to eliminate the threat. If he felt threatened, he can eliminate the threat.
They had no
No,
business
sir.
reaching for her car and reaching into her car. That's where they broke the law in the very beginning. So anyway, see you all
Yep.
next week.
Thank you to our first responders in our communities. You make our lives livable. Thank you, thank you, thank you to our women and men, our bad women and men of the U.S. military. We are so grateful for everything you do. We are forever indebted. On behalf of Ogunna, the voice of reason, Stephen, the independent thinker, Keith, the constitutional conservative, and my cousin Todd. I'm Staci Johnson. Let's keep this conversation going. Check us out on X at Sporlitiks. We're on Stephanie Stallworth's The Flow Television Network. We are on X, Twitch, Stephanie Stallworth, Facebook at Sporlitiks. We're on TikTok. On TikTok, we're Sporlitiks.com. Sporlitiks.com, spelled out, on TikTok. Check us out on Instagram at Sporlitiks. And please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel on Sporlitiks. Remember, we started in 2011. That's when we started this show. We've been on 2011 until 2026. Thank you for joining us. Check us out. Come see us next week. We'll be back on 9th. Did I say my name?
No. I'm
No.
Staci Johnson.
No, I am. All right.
Sorry about the language.
You guys went
Yeah.
over. We are way over time.
Way
It's 9:42.
over.
Yeah, I just don't believe unarmed women should be shot. That's, call me an asshole. I just don't think unarmed women should be shot. I think it's bad. I think it's bad form. And I don't think it's cool. And I don't think it was right for Ashley Babbitt. And I don't think it was right for this woman. I don't think it was right.
Or in the door, is she in there? Is she actually physically, and the officer on the other side is drawing guns. She's in the window. He's telling her to get down. Don't.
She's on the other side of the door. She's on the other side of the door. She was unarmed. Why would he shoot a woman? Why would he shoot a woman?
Because she could have been a pipe bomber. She could have had anything like that.
The pipe bomber was from the inside.
How does the officer know that? He just saw the threat.
He didn't see a threat. He didn't see a gun. He didn't see a weapon.
She was the weapon. She
really?
She was a weapon.
Really?
So
really?
You know what a suicide?
No, you can't defend it. No, we're not going to waste time defending this guy. You can't you can't defend either one of these cops for what they did. These were unarmed women that were not a threat to them. Hey, that little 100-pound woman coming through that door was not going to hurt that cop.
He may not like it, but that
she couldn't hear. He didn't warn her. He just shot her. He's a coward, and he still works there.
Why was she there? Just like why
because she believes that the election was stolen, and she wanted to make her voice heard. And she went in, and some people were let in, some people worked their way in. But the FBI had 274 people. I'm not going to argue January 6th. That woman was innocent. She didn't have a weapon on her. She was no threat to that man, and he murdered her. And she got like $1 million or something, $5 million for it.
Like Ogunna says, all she had to do was go get a what?
A visitor's pass.
Right. But she lost her life, and she was posing no threat to anybody. Hey, what about the 50 men that were around her? Were they more of a threat than this 100-pound woman? Your argument sucks. You don't have an argument, Ogunna.
Ogunna, is that your dog? Is that the dog?
Where?
Oh, I thought you still had your dog. Where's your dog?
My dog's over. She's over by the door over here.
Oh, okay. That's why I thought you were talking to your dog. Did you have to take her out to walk her or feed her?
No. My son had come downstairs, but no. I mean, at the end of the day, look, you got to follow officers' commands. If you don't follow them, stuff like this happens. And this is something we've known.
That woman should not have lost her life. He pulled the gun before she even came at him. She wanted, but you know that cop killed her on purpose. He wanted her to die.
I don't know.
He was a pissed off dude. He wanted her, but nothing's going to happen to him because our federal government is not going to go after this cop.
On his side. Now, there may have been a
the law is not on his side. ICE rules go against everything he did. He did everything wrong.
A federal officer doesn't have to yield ground.
Yes, he does. He cannot stand in front of a car. That's one of their rules. You cannot stand in front or behind of the car. He put himself in that position on purpose because I believe he's a nut and he wanted to shoot this woman. He's tired of putting up with people's garbage and he wanted to kill one. And you know what? You know what the other cops said during the day? They said to other people, they said, "Did you learn from what just happened? You're gonna mouth off to me. Didn't you learn from what just happened?" That's what the ICE cops are saying now to people. Somebody just got killed and nothing's gonna happen to the ICE cop. You want to get killed too? You better listen to us. You don't want this crap. You don't want this crap from these cops, man.
You voted.
This is not good for America. What's happening right now is not good for the United States.
It's the
This
mass
is not America,
deportation you
brother.
voted for. You voted for this mass
I
deportation.
didn't
That's
vote
what
for
happened.
this. I voted. He was a con man. He was a con man. He conned me. Okay, I was conned, but I'm man enough to admit it. Maybe one day you will be.
And look, I didn't vote for him though.
Bull crap! You had a MAGA hat on. You had a MAGA hat on.
Look. I didn't
vote for him, but you had your MAGA hat on. Get out of here, man. You're talking to an elephant, brother. I don't forget nothing.
You said he did great things.
All right, good night.
No, I mean he was doing good things, man. But I don't appreciate the stuff he's doing. I can't stand it, and I just want everybody in America, all of us, people all over the world, to do well. But we're not doing well because they're taking over the world, is what they're doing, Ogunna.
Thank you.
And it's
Good
right in
night.
our face.
Thank
This
you.
is
Good night.
nasty.